Let's show you how to do a middle part haircut without stressing out over the scissor work, the clipper work, and overall the shape and style of the haircut. I do multiple middle parts every single week, and this is exactly how I can get them done in 30 minutes or less. So let's get straight into the video. So the first part of the haircut that is, I would say, the most important, because it's a part of the foundation of the haircut, is finding the swirl, finding the spiral in the back. Now, why? The reason why is because essentially this is going to help you do the sectioning of the haircut. So this is where we section the top from the sides, and we want to connect that swirl to the corner of their hairline. That corner of the hairline is called the recession. So you can see that I've connected the corner of the hairline all the way to that back swirl, and this is what they call a horseshoe parting. And as easy as that, we've already sectioned out this haircut. Now we need to find out where to place our weight line, our block graduation. Now, what we want to do is find the round of the head. So you can see that I've located the round of the head, but I need to also find the round of the back. So you see how the head kind of curves? That round of the head is where the head starts to curve and kind of go in right there. And this is where it's at for my particular client. Now, you can see I was able to find that spot by placing my comb and seeing where does it start to level out. And now that I found the round of his head, I can get straight into my scissor work. Now, I'm going to take my fingers tight and close to the round of his head with very, very tight tension, which means I'm holding the hair very tight. And I'm just gonna move a little bit at a time. Every new section that I take, I'm going to take one step to the right or one step to the left, just so I make sure that I'm cutting the hair in front of me. And we're gonna continue to do this around the whole head. Now, this might take you a little bit more time in the start of your haircut, but it's going to make the whole process so much easier, because this is how you can connect your clipper work into your scissor work with a very, very easy to follow blend. The reason why I want to show you guys this technique is because this technique is a foundation of so many haircuts that we do inside of the barbershop every single day. And if you guys can just learn how to do this correctly, you will be able to lock in and build your clientele so fast, because you'll be able to do haircuts that other barbers just simply can't. And that's why learning this technique and trying to practice it as much as possible is super important for being able to do great haircuts super consistently. Now I'll go back over and clean up any lines that I have that are a little bit heavier than what I would like. But you can see this is the foundation of the haircut, and it'll go straight into our next step, which is our clipper work. I'm gonna take the Tomb 45 clippers with the green 3 guard. This is our number 3 guard. And guys, I want you guys to also look at how I'm holding the clippers. I have one thumb on top of the clippers and the rest of my hands are behind it. And I'm not really holding it in my hand. I'm kind of holding it on the edges of my fingers. And the reason why I'm holding it on the edges of my fingers is just, for me, it's a little bit more comfortable that way. So I get a lot of questions about, how can you hold the clipper? And as simply put, guys, it is essentially, you got to find what's going to be a little bit more comfortable for you. This is the number 3 guard with the lever closed. Now, if the lever was open, then I would technically be using a 3.5. Because remember that when we open the lever, when we push the lever down towards the floor, it's going to make it a little bit longer cutting. Versus whether I close the lever and bring it closer to the ceiling, well, what happens? It's gonna cut to a true 3. So this is a true 3, and I'm just going straight up into the weight that I literally just left on the sides. Now I'm not gonna cut into it, I'm just going straight off the sides of the head. Now our next step. Now you can see that I'm using the 1.5 guard, but you can see the lever looks a little bit different, because I'm going to start with the 1.5 guard open, and then I'm going to slowly close it in the taper area. Now you can see I'm holding the clipper the exact same way. And why I'm doing this is because we want to give him a bit of a shadow taper. So I'm fading down and you can see that it's very like dark and heavy in his sideburn area. And that's because sometimes that bit of the sideburn area is actually more like facial hair because it starts to get very thick and very coarse. So I'm just fading down. And the same thing on this side. I'm gonna go ahead, start with my 1.5 guard all the way open. And then I'll move a little bit lower in the taper area and actually close the guard up just so I can start to get it a little bit lighter and start to blend it in a little bit more. Now the next step is just to take the 0.5 guard, the 0.5 guard, still using the 245C clippers. And you guys can see I did a very quick change, but I started with it open and then I automatically went with it closed. Now you guys might ask, well, why did you not use the 1 guard? Well, the cool thing with these clippers in specific is that the blade is a little bit longer. So because it's a little bit longer, sometimes you can skip in between guards if you know what you're doing. So with this clipper, I've learned that I don't really need to use the 1 guard. I can use the 1.5 guard and I could use just the half guard and I can totally skip that step but still get a very smooth blend. For me, I would call that efficiency. Efficiency is essentially being able to get the same result or even a better result but saving time. We don't want to rush haircuts, but we do want to do very efficient haircuts. Now we can actually get into the scissor work on top, right? Which this is where the actual mid part style comes to life. Now look at this right here. I'm gonna stand behind my client, comb all this hair back, and look, it's naturally starting to part, not necessarily in the middle of his head, but a little bit off to the side, but it flows really nicely into the swirl. Now you guys can see that if we actually look at him from the front, it's not in the middle of his head, it's off to the side a little bit. And some barbers would force this line to go down the middle of his head, but I know that it just won't lay right. It's gonna kind of stick up a little bit. It's gonna give him problems to style his hair. The reason why I like to comb the hair slowly with the hair a little bit wet is just because it allows me to really see how the hair wants to lay. And you can see this is how the hair wants to lay. So I'm gonna cut it in the way that it wants to lay so it can be easier to style for him and look better growing longer. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take small sections from the top and we're gonna actually connect them into the line that we first did at the beginning of the video with the block graduation. If you can almost look through the hair, you can see that I can actually see that line. So all I'm gonna do is just connect it, just blend it in. And that way I know that none of the hair on the top is gonna hang over the sides. But this is very important. I'm only going to be doing that behind the side of the ear. Like right behind that side of the ear right there is where I'm going to be doing this connection. Now, when it actually comes to everything that is in front of the ear that I'm dealing with right now, I need this hair to be long at the front, but gradually get shorter towards the back because we want this middle part to blend in. Now, he said that he wanted it to lay around his eye level once it was combed back. But you guys can see that I'm actually not going to take off that much length in the front, but as we go back, so much more length is going to come off. Now, something that I want you guys to realize is focus on the actual haircut that you're creating. Don't just think about, okay, I need to take 1 inch off of everything and leave everything the exact same length. There are some haircuts where it's going to be longer in the front than the back, or shorter in the front than the back, or shorter on one side than the other side. It may not seem, super perfect, but that's sometimes what creating a certain haircut is be able to, it's art at the end of the day. So you guys can see that as it's kind of combed back, it's falling right around that eye line, but you can see that it's a little bit shorter, towards the back than now it is the front. And now we're just going here, just evening it out and checking out the shape. The main goal with this is that when we comb the hair back, that he gets that middle part flow, but that he doesn't have a crazy amount of hangover when it comes to the back of the haircut. And then anything that's behind the ear that we need to clean up, I can just do a little bit of scissor over comb to get that hair. And now we're gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing on this side that we just did on the other side. Literally copy and paste. That's why we split the hair right down as close as we can get it to the middle, because we want both of the sides to be even. And just look at my fingers. My fingers are angled up because that's the line that I'm trying to create. So my fingers are almost like being my guide in this situation. Now, what I'll tell you guys is, if you are starting to learn this haircut and you're still kind of figuring out how it works, try not to get too overwhelmed and take it one step at a time. You would be able to learn this haircut so much faster. Maybe you play back this video and you have a mannequin and you do it on the mannequin, or maybe you have a friend that has a haircut and you cut his hair for free just to learn how to actually perform this service. That was something that I did a lot when I was first starting out cutting hair. Was I would actually go ahead and do haircuts for free on the certain haircuts or hairstyles that I felt like I really wanted to learn. But let's go ahead and cut the top. So you guys can see right here that I have a short point on one side and I have another short point on the other side. And this almost looks like a triangle or like a peak. I'm going to go ahead and connect both short points and just cut everything that is in the middle. Now, I'm going to cut it with my scissors angled a little bit, and that's just called point cutting, where you're still creating an even shape, but you're just adding a little bit of texture and making the hair a little bit softer so they can just fall a little bit softer on the rest of the haircut. Now, how do we get that short point on both sides so that when we pull it up, we know exactly what to cut? Well, remember when we split the hair down the middle and then we pulled it out from each side? That's what created that shape. That's what created the length right there. So now I'm just gonna go through and I'm just checking, making sure that everything's even, adding a little bit of texture for it to fall softer. But just remember this, that when it comes to the middle part haircuts, if you cut it too short in the middle, it won't have enough length or weight to fall down and over to the sides like how you see it doing right here. And that's what we want. So make sure that you don't cut it too short. Now you can see that we've faded out the sides and we have our number 3 on the sides and back as well with our shadow taper. But now we're going to take our Tomb 45T trimmers and we're gonna start to line up the area. I'm gonna create a reference point A and a reference point B. So you can see after creating my reference point A and B, you guys are kind of already gonna see that come together, where I'm just going to be able to connect one point directly to the other point just so I can get that pointed sideburn that my client ultimately wants. And you guys can see that, during my haircut process, I work a lot by reference points, and I just kind of follow the same strategies that get me to my result. And that's what's going to help you be able to do these haircuts eventually, like on autopilot, where these haircuts don't stress you out anymore. You're so much more confident behind the chair. And that's what I want to do with this channel, is help you guys build your confidence behind the chair and really help you guys with all these aspects of barbering, because barbering has absolutely changed my life and changed the life of some of the people that I love the most. And I just want to put, and make phenomenal videos for you guys that really break these haircuts down simple, step by step. So if you guys have a haircut that you guys want to see, throw that in the comment section below. Let me know a specific haircut that you want a detailed breakdown on, with the diagrams on the screen and everything. And even more than that, let me know even more, what is something that you guys liked about this video? Did you guys like those little pop-ups? Just let me know, right? But to style the hair, we have some sea salt spray and we have some indestructible clay. These products are from Tomb 45, and you just combine these products together, throw them in the hair, blow dry the hair back, and styling is literally as simple as that. You guys can see that the hair flows and connects into the back. We have that nice mid part that is just being very cool and calm. We have a nice shadow taper that blends into that as well. And guys, I feel like when you guys understand this haircut, deconstructed, broke it down, you guys understand every single step, to the black graduation, to the clip work on the sides, to how we gave him that flowy, soft sides of the middle part. You guys get to see and understand everything. So if you guys enjoy this video, let me know in the comment section below, and I cannot wait to see you guys on the next one. Peace out, God bless, and let's keep on standing on this business, man. Come on, let's get it.